But if one more person said that to her, Jodi swore she was going to lose it. And that bothered her. A lot. She hated being controlled by fear. Hated that by doing so she effectively allowed Ryan to win. It wasn't until her younger sister Brienne asked Jodi to be the maid of honor at her Valentine's Day wedding that Jodi knew she had to do something. Flooding technique, Dr. Jenna called it. Exposure therapy. The doctor had started small, asking Jodi to hold wedding-related items, garters, invitations, Jordan almonds, until she could do it without breaking into a cold sweat. Slowly, Dr. Jenna exposed her to more and more stimuli until she declared Jodi ready for the coup de grace, which meant attending, crashing a wedding. In retrospect, if she'd been smarter, she wouldn't have chosen one of the most high-profile weddings in Texas. But when it came to New Year's Day weddings, the pickings were kind of slim. And she'd always wanted to see inside the Grand Texan Hotel when it was decked out for the holidays. Unfortunately, she failed to fully consider the consequences of intruding upon the union of the lieutenant governor's son to the daughter of Betsy Houston, one of the new owners of the Dallas Gunslingers baseball team. Hindsight was most definitely an ironic bitch. At noon on January 1st, her last guest of the season checked out of Boxcars and Breakfast, her unique B&B made from old boxcars that she'd renovated herself. And she'd closed the business until the following Monday. Early January was her slowest time of the year, and she didn't have a single booking for the upcoming weekend. She had 4 whole days all to herself for the first time since she'd opened the B&B a decade ago. She waved her only employee and best friend in the whole world, Handyman Hamilton G., off on his annual ski trip that she gifted him with as a Christmas bonus. She packed up her suitcase and told a little white lie to her close-knit family about where she was going, a white lie she promptly felt guilty about, and drove from her hometown of Stardust, 2.5 hours west, to Dallas. Jodi checked into a Motel 6 just down the road from the Grand Texan and spent an hour doing her makeup. She dressed in a slinky emerald ball gown she'd gotten for 70% off at Neiman Marcus's online post-Christmas sale. Even on deep discount, it was the most expensive and the most elegant garment she'd ever owned, including her own wedding gown, may it rest in shreds. Yes, buying the dress meant spending 2 weeks' revenue, but if she was going to pull this off, she had to look the part, which entailed, besides the dress and a sleek new hairstyle, arriving in a limousine. Although to save money, she planned to grab a taxi back to the Motel 6 when the wedding was over. And everything was trucking along according to plan. The limo pulled up outside the Grand Texan at 6:40, 20 minutes before the ceremony was set to begin. The valet who helped her from the car cast approving glances her way. When she pressed a $20 bill into his palm, his smile widened. A million white twinkle lights turned the hotel into a fairy tale castle. The hum of voices, the rustle of skirts, and whistle of the bell captain buzzed the air with festivity. A modicum of slush from the New Year's Eve snow flurry dampened the ground, the dropping night temperature threatening to freeze it to ice. Jodi drew her coat tighter around her shoulders, clutched the silver-beaded evening bag she'd surreptitiously borrowed from her parents' antique store, Timeless Treasures, and jockeyed for position in the middle of the well-heeled crowd streaming toward the front entrance. The hotel itself was as impressive as she imagined it would be. Texas elegance.